Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yugioh Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh video. So a couple of days ago, we got confirmation that the next Duelist pack, or Legendary Duelist in the TCG, is going to be featuring Fire-type Duelists, which is awesome. For those of you that don't really remember what these packs are, or what these sets are, basically every few months we get a Duelist pack in the OCG that is type-based, meaning if it is a Water Duelist pack, we get a bunch of archetype support for characters who used Water decks in the Yu-Gi-Oh anime. Well, many of us have been very excited for the Fire type for Duelist pack because it's probably one of the most unused monster types in any of the main Yu-Gi-Oh anime, and so for that reason, there's really only a few they can choose from unless they go really outside the box. Well, normally what I do for these Duelist packs whenever they are first announced is I go over 5 characters that I strongly believe, or maybe don't strongly believe, will be featured for this set. Normally they only choose 4. I think they've only done 3 before. I think for Duelists of Whirlwind, they only did Yugioh, Rin, and Ruri, so it might only be 3 here, but I think they're probably going to do 4, and without any further ado, here are my predictions for the 4 archetypes from the Yu-Gi-Oh animes that we are going to be getting in this set. I hope you guys enjoy, and leave your predictions down below. Before we get into the video, I would like to thank today's video sponsor, and that is Whatnot. For those of you that are not familiar with Whatnot, it is an amazing site or mobile app where you can buy and sell all kinds of items, including Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Pokemon cards, Funkos, Magic, literally anything that you can think of. I just did my first Whatnot live stream a couple of weeks ago, and it went amazingly. We auctioned off a lot of really cool signed merch, and this coming Tuesday, January 31st, I will be live on Whatnot at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, debuting a new merch design for the channel, these 2 shirts. We will have a limited supply of these 2 shirt designs, which is awesome. I'm super excited to start selling them, and I am super excited to sign a few for you guys only on Whatnot this coming Tuesday night. If you don't have an account yet, use my link in the description and sign up. You'll get $15 off your first purchase at checkout, which is an awesome perk that Whatnot does. It's so cool. I will see some of you guys Tuesday night. Huge thank you to Whatnot for sponsoring this video, and make sure to follow me on there, link in the description. So I always do these from most likely to least likely, and most likely, this might surprise some people, is Volcanics, which was played, of course, by Axel O'Brien in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. So I'm sure Payne is going to be very happy. I saw recently he just posted that this is day 1,427 of waiting for good Pyro/Volcanic support to arrive in the OCG TCG. If you've been around the Yu-Gi-Oh! Forums and comment sections for a while, I'm sure you know who Payne is, and I could not do this segment without giving him a shout out. I think he's finally going to get his wish that has been in the works for, I believe, over 4 years now, and I believe Volcanics are finally going to get support in this upcoming set. I would be really surprised if they didn't. Now, we have seen some pretty big shocks with this set before. Remember, Duelists of Pyroxane. Pyroxane makes you immediately think of Gem Knights, and Gem Knights were not actually featured in that Duelist pack. It was featured in its own set that came out around the same time, so that's probably the reason why it wasn't. But I guess there could always be a curveball with Volcanics in that regard as well. So it's not necessarily set in stone, but again, because of how little characters used fire decks, I feel like this one is a pretty safe bet, and I'd be shocked if Volcanics are not featured front and center in Duelist pack, Duelist of Explosion. Number 2, Salamangreats, which were used by Soulburner in Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains. Salamangreats are certainly one of the most, if not the most, strongest anime fire archetype we have ever gotten that has come to the TCG and OCG. It was meta for a very long time while Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains was airing, but I feel like we have not gotten any Salamangreat support in quite some time. It hasn't been that long because Vrains didn't end all that long ago, although it did end over 3 years ago, which is still crazy to think of. And when you think fire, when you think anime, Salamangreats have to be one of, if not the very first deck that you think of. Soulburner is a fan favorite. Salamangreats is a favorite archetype of a lot of people, even if you didn't watch Vrains. I'd be really surprised if we didn't get Salamon Great support in this upcoming set, and I feel like that is another safe bet to see in Duelist of Explosion. Number 3, Battle and Boxer, which was used by Alito in Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. So this one I'm not as confident about as the other two, but I still feel pretty decent that we are going to get this archetype. It is a Fire Wario archetype, and if you didn't watch Zexal, Alito was one of the Barian Emperors in that story, so he was a pretty important character, and I feel like he got a few amount of duels, especially some pretty memorable ones against Yuma, and so it's not like this was a one-off deck or anything like that, and I feel like we have not gotten Battle and Boxer support in, geez, God knows how long, unless maybe I've just missed it in the last couple of years. So I feel like getting some more Battle and Boxer aces. Maybe we'll get that Chaos XZ's Battle and Boxer that he was about to summon. Funny enough, I just did a YouTube short on that. That would actually be really, really cool. And don't discount Battle and Boxer. If you've ever played Duel Links, you probably remember this card. I know I've used this card quite a bit in a couple of my decks, and I feel like this card was very useful in many, many decks in a game like Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. So Battle and Boxer has had cards before that have been decently relevant in certain types of formats. So I think it would be cool to add on to Battle and Boxers, and I have a pretty good feeling that that will happen in this upcoming set. Number 4, red archetype played by Jack Atlas, specifically in Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. So these next two are two picks that I don't really feel all that confident on, but I still could definitely see them happening, and one of those is Jack Atlas's red archetype. A lot of you guys might not remember, but Jack in Arc 5 played a lot of fire-type monsters. I mean, these were the effect monsters he used. Red Gardna, Red Gargoyle, Red Giant, Red Mirror, Red Sprinter, Red Warg. Now, his tuner resonator monsters were not necessarily fire types, and of the 4 synchro monsters he utilized, only Crimson Blader and Red Wyvern were fire-type monsters, but I mean, half of his extra deck was fire monster type. So I really could see him getting some more support here with his red cards. Maybe they'll even do a Red Dragon Arcfiend that instead of being a dark monster is a fire type monster. I think it would work. I think it makes sense, especially with the naming of red being in the name. And when you think red, you think fire, or maybe vice versa. At least when I think red in Yu-Gi-Oh, I'd certainly think fire right away. And I feel like Jack did play a lot of fire cards in Arc 5. Much like Soulburner, Jack Atlas to this day is a massive fan favorite. And I could see his category of red cards getting expanded on. Maybe we get some new bosses in the upcoming set for Duelist of Explosion. Number 5, and this is one that I do not feel good about at all, but maybe it's a dark horse, is Guts Master, which was played by Skip Boyle in Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, Yuzu's father. So I do not believe Guts Master have been printed. I know they were a candidate to be released in Collection Pack 2020, and I believe they received less than 1% of the vote, coming in 10th place. So not many people really wanted to see Guts Master picked a couple of years ago. I don't think this is an archetype that probably gets anyone excited, but again, because of the lacking of fire type archetypes in Yu-Gi-Oh animes, it was very hard for me to find a character that played a fire type deck, and Guts Masters are a fire warrior type archetype. Now, I think Battle and Boxers are going to get printed, and those are fire warrior monsters. So would they do 2 different types of fire warrior? Probably not. Again, I don't feel like this has a very good chance, but this should go to show you the amount of limited fire decks that we have in Yu-Gi-Oh! And I mean, when I do think of Skip Boyle, I do think of him being fired up and him having that red-hot, passionate spirit. So it definitely fits with his character, but I think it's a deck that, if it was chosen, would probably fail to get a lot of people hyped up. I don't really care to see it printed. I'm sure most of you guys don't, but you know, it is Konami, and I'm going to put this as kind of a dark horse pick, but I would be pretty surprised. that about wraps it up. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Another couple of things I wanted to note. It would be great if we got Bastion's Fire Dragon printed as a one-off in this set. I think this is a perfect time to do it. I think that's super rare, super copium, but it would be awesome. And I've seen a lot of people meme and say that Joey's Flame Swordsman will be included in this set with some new support, which would be hilarious because it would give them an excuse to put Joey on the cover of the TCG pack, which is something that they did with, of course, Nash being on the OCG cover for the water set of Legendary Duelists, and then Mako Tsunami being on the TCG cover. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but if it does, you know, I gotta mentally prepare you right now. Please let me know which fire archetypes you think we will see printed in this set and which you would like to see printed in this set. Thank you so much for watching. A special thank you to my Platinum tier patron, Panther J, to my Diamond tier patrons, Latrell Smith and Jesse Woods, and to my Egyptian God tier patron, Pink Penguin. Thank you to everyone who supports me on Patreon and whoever is a YouTube channel member. You guys help me out so much. And if you want some exclusive channel perks, definitely check out both of those sites and features. Be sure to check out my channel for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime content. And until next time, I hope you have an amazing day. Take care, guys.
Why